is the 77 WABC minicast.
Peter King, I always say it's King and Giuliani, whatever order you want to put it, as the greatest politicians in my lifetime, the great congressman out of Long Island. Peter, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Hey, can you hear me? I just had to get in the car. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, good.
Let's get right to Bruce. Bruce called in yesterday, and with Todd Hood from Garden City from the Republican convention.
Right.
Delgado dropped out, so it's going to be Hochul and Adams versus Blakeman and Hood. What are your thoughts, Peter King, on this big race coming up for governor in November?
Well, I'm on the way to the convention now. I've been there the last 2 days. The spirits are great. People are really united behind Bruce. And these people from all over the state. I think his pick for lieutenant governor is outstanding. I spent some time with him yesterday and last night. Joe Cairo had a big reception. No, listen, we're in great shape. I mean, it's going to be tough. We start off 3.5 million votes behind. But I'd say if anyone can cut that and win, it's going to be Bruce, because he should have all Republicans and conservatives on his side. You start with that, and then he's going to start cutting into the Democratic base. Certainly independent Democrats who have had enough of Kathy Hochul, who figured really resent the fact that their party has been taken over by the Mindami wing. So, no, listen, he's off and running, and he's like nonstop. It's going to be a great campaign, and I think he's going to cut into traditional Democratic votes in a big way. You know, 4 years ago, when Lee Zeldin ran a great race, he only lost by 6 points, and he got 30% of the vote in New York City. If Bruce can just get that up to 33%, he wins. And I think with all that's going on in New York under Mandami, that alone should put Bruce right there at the edge of winning, and then his energy is going to get it over the top.
Well, I look at two places where Blakeman and Hood could deliver that knockout punch, as difficult as it's going to be. You talk about the numbers. Two places, law and order, certainly. Nassau County is the safest community. I mean, damn, I'm at the Super Bowl. I'm at the Fox News about to watch the Super Bowl on Sunday night, and Pat Ryder is on Fox News. So he's got national attention. He's a big deal. So law enforcement, law and order, nobody better than Nassau County. And taxes. Bruce Blakeman has not raised taxes for years. Now, through two administrations, I got to think, Peter King, between those two issues right there, keeping New Yorkers safe and keeping money in their bank accounts, that's a big win for Blakeman and Hood.
Right. It gives them a great start, and again, a solid base, and that has to cut into traditional Democratic voters who really feel as if they're being taken advantage of. I mean, yesterday at the convention, I was speaking to, not your typical a Republican delegate. I was talking to a retired cop of the Dominican Republic. He said the Dominican community is looking for inspiration from Republicans. They feel abandoned and rejected and taken for granted by the Democrats. So there's a whole votes we can tap into legitimately just by standing by our values. I think too many Republicans over the years, not in Nassau County, because Joe Cairo and Bruce Blakeman reach out to everybody who they feel really come into the Republicans' head on basic values. So that's another one. Also, an African-American woman spoke about how her son was murdered and the soft deal that the killers got from Alvin Bragg. And she said she's African-American, she's a Democrat, she's had it with the Democratic Party. And I'm just using those as examples of the weakness in the Democratic Party and the real legitimate opportunities for Republicans, because Bruce does represent basic values that Americans have, whether they're Democrat or Republican. Common sense people should definitely identify with Bruce Blakeman. And listen, the guy has so much energy, he has charisma, and I think he can get that. In fact, I know he's going to get that message out.
I totally agree. I want to get to Israel quickly. Peter King on his way to the convention today. It becomes official that Bruce Blakeman will be our Republican nominee for governor. Of course, Todd Hood, for the Fulton County Sheriff, 22 years as a cop in Syracuse. Terrific guy, was on this show yesterday. He'll be his lieutenant governor. I love the ticket. But I do want to get to this meeting at the White House today. Peter, you are a dear, dear friend of Israel. And Bibi is set to meet with President Trump. You ready for this? For a seven times Trump and Bibi have met. And you got to think, Peter, and you know more than me about this, but that this is a meeting for Trump to say to Bibi, here's what we're going to do, because I don't see any other option. I really don't. I had the same conversation with Mike Huckabee a couple of days ago. No other option for Trump, despite the best attempts of Witkoff and Kushner, but to hit Iran once again. What does Peter King think?
Yeah, you hate to say that you favor a war, but the fact is Iran is not going to listen. These are not people you can reason with. These aren't people that you can make any kind of accommodation with because they are out for destruction. So, Witkoff can talk all he wants. The fact is that Iran, they're going to keep going ahead until they're stopped. Listen, right now we're almost taking for granted what President Trump did last summer when he attacked the nuclear facilities. We had been talking about that for 20 or 30 years, and it was always felt it's good, something to talk about. It can never, ever be done. And if it did, it was going to set off a world war. Well, he did it in 3 hours, and he got it done. So I think Iran should realize that, and I don't think anyone back here should be undermining him by accusing him of Trump of this or that. The fact is he's a proven record on Iran. Iran has its own proven record of being anti-American, homicidal maniacs. These people are fanatics, and they're different from any country we've dealt with. You say what you want about Putin and others who I think are evil, but they're not suicidal. The Iranians would do anything. They don't care, and we have to stand up to them. And I think Netanyahu knows that. Certainly Trump had really known that from the start. So I think they're going to have a really solid meeting today going forward. And also, that should send the final signal to Iran that they got to knock it off.
One more 2 minutes, Peter. This Ukraine-Russia situation, which led you and I to have words, but that's because we're both passionate, and neither one of us wants to see innocent people dying. And by the way, when I say innocent people, I mean Russians or Ukrainians. It's not these Russians' fault that Putin puts them in a position where so many are dying. The numbers are outrageous. Right. I mean, look, I don't think they're winning Ukraine, but they're certainly putting a hurting on Russia, and a lot of people are dying on both sides, and it doesn't seem like Iran that Putin has any interest in really cooperating or compromising or stopping. What do you see?
Yeah, I don't think he ever did. And the fact is that Russia has lost twice as many troops as Ukraine. It's really insane that they're going in there the way they are. I mean, again, Ukraine in the end, if it becomes a battle of attrition, ultimately Russia's going to win. But the fact is the losses Russia is suffering is just immense. They're enormous. Yep. And I think even the big offensive of the last year, they've only gotten about 1 or 2% of Ukraine's landmass. So, again, I think the president should make it clear to Putin that we are going to give heavy weapons to Ukraine. And really right now, I mean, Ukraine is doing everything we're asking them to do, and Russia has not kept up to any of its words. Also, I know you pushed me off the air because you have another guest coming up. Paul Morrow is the best. I will gladly yield my time to Paul. That guy is phenomenal. He is phenomenal. He is really great. He's a great guy, and he's a great analyst, and to me, he's like the best of the NYPD.
I agree with you. In fact, Paul is coming up next after Known with the News, live in Tucson, Arizona, the latest on Nancy Guthrie. And I'll tell you, I want you to come to this, Peter. The detectives are honoring me. I hate when they do that with me. I don't deserve it. But they are honoring me and Paul Morrow together at Russo's on the Bay in Howard Beach in April. And I'd love for you to come. So that's coming up in April. Your two buddies, Sid and Paul Morrow. How about that?
Well, Paul is my buddy. I'm a little skeptical about it. Yeah, how it is. No, listen, I'd love to be there, obviously.
Yeah,
definitely.
You'll be there. You'll be there. Give my best to Cairo and Bruce and all of you guys.
I will.
All right, and it's an exciting day for Bruce and all you guys, you and Joe too. So congratulations, and we move forward, Peter King. Thank you so much.
You got it. On to victory. You got it.
On to victory. Exactly right. Peter King, the amazing congressman right there.